When a narcissist chooses to exploit, manipulate, or devalue you, what they are really doing is making a bargain with time. They chase the thrill of short-term gain, control, validation, or the fleeting satisfaction of power, without realizing that these moments come at the expense of their future, like a gambler who trades tomorrow's security for today's rush. The narcissist spends their psychological capital recklessly. Every lie they tell, every boundary they cross, every betrayal they commit is an investment in decay. They believe they are winning in the moment, but they are quietly writing the script of their own downfall. The psyche does not forget. What they inflict on others is recorded in the collective memory of relationships, communities, and even their own unconscious. Each act of harm pushes people further away, corrodes trust, and builds a reputation that will haunt them. In Jung's terms, they are living from the shadow, feeding on illusions, rather than confronting the truth of their own emptiness. Short-term victories blind them to the reality that the future they are destroying is their own. In seeking to conquer you, they sacrifice themselves. That is the paradox they can never escape. Trust is the invisible currency of human connection. When a narcissist betrays you, they may believe it is a private act, confined only to the two of you. But betrayal is never isolated. It ripples outward. Each lie, each manipulation, each moment of exploitation plants a seed that eventually grows into consequences they cannot control. They imagine themselves clever for outwitting you, yet in truth, they are dismantling the very bridges they need to cross in their own future. Once trust is broken, people do not forget. Friends whisper, communities notice, and reputations solidify in ways that no fast aid can repair. Even when the narcissist tries to reinvent themselves, the shadow of their past behavior follows them. Their name becomes synonymous with deception, and doors quietly close long before they even knock. What they did to you was not just an offense against one person. It was a declaration to the world that they cannot be trusted, and trust, once lost, is almost impossible to reclaim. In chasing their own advantage, they created their greatest disadvantage. What they destroyed in you was temporary, but what they destroyed in themselves is permanent. Trust, once squandered, is their true downfall. What the narcissist never anticipates is the quiet power of your healing. They believe that their cruelty defines you, that their manipulation will forever trap you in the role of the wounded. But the human spirit has a remarkable capacity for renewal. When you choose silence, when you step back from their chaos, you are not surrendering, you are transforming. What they see as weakness is, in fact, the beginning of your greatest strength. As you grow, you begin to detach from the illusions they spun. You recognize that their control was never true power, only dependency dressed as dominance. By healing, you remove yourself from their game entirely, and that absence becomes their deepest wound. Narcissists thrive on reaction, on knowing they still have a place in your mind. When you no longer engage, they are left confronting the emptiness they tried so desperately to avoid. This is the silent revenge. You rise while they remain stagnant. You become proof that their influence was never final, that what they tried to destroy in you only awakened a deeper resilience. And as you heal, their world collapses, not with noise, but with silence. Your growth is their greatest defeat. Reputation is not built in a single moment. It is shaped by patterns, by the accumulation of choices repeated over time. A narcissist, in their arrogance, assumes the mask will always protect them. They believe their charm can erase their cruelty, that their lies will remain hidden beneath carefully crafted illusions. But masks crack, and when they do, the truth comes rushing forward. People remember. They may not confront the narcissist directly, but they carry the memory of how they were treated, and those memories travel further than the narcissist ever anticipates. In a society built on connection, reputation functions as a kind of passport. It determines which doors open and which remain closed. When someone repeatedly betrays, manipulates, and deceives, their passport becomes stamped with warning signs. Opportunities vanish, trust evaporates, and even those who once defended them begin to distance themselves. This is the prison they cannot escape. Not bars of steel, but the silent judgment of others who have witnessed the truth. The irony is sharp. The narcissist who spent so much energy trying to control how they are seen ultimately loses all control of their image. Their reputation becomes their undoing. Control is the narcissist's chosen weapon. They build their identity on the illusion that as long as they can manipulate the emotions, choices, and perceptions of others, they hold power. But control is fragile. It only exists when someone consents to play the game. The moment you step away, the moment you refuse to feed the cycle, their supposed power dissolves. Without someone to dominate, they are left facing themselves, and that is the very confrontation they fear most. The collapse of control is not loud at first. It begins quietly, in the silence of your absence. What they once took for granted, the ability to provoke you, to pull you back in, to dictate your sense of worth, no longer works, and in that failure, their reality begins to unravel. They are exposed, not only to others, but to themselves. What they called strength is revealed as dependency. What they called dominance is revealed as desperation. In losing control over you, they lose the illusion of control over everything. That is why your freedom becomes their collapse. When you reclaim your autonomy, you take from them the only power they ever truly had. Healing is not only your liberation, it is their undoing. When you begin to reclaim your identity, to mend the wounds they inflicted, and to rise beyond the cycle of pain, you are doing more than saving yourself. You are dismantling the very foundation of their illusion. Narcissists thrive on the belief that they left a permanent mark, that their shadow will linger in your life forever. But every act of growth, every boundary you establish, every step you take towards self-awareness proves them wrong. What they never considered is that your healing reflects back to them everything they refuse to face in themselves. Your strength highlights their weakness, your clarity exposes their confusion, and your progress reminds them of their own stagnation. In this way, your transformation becomes their silent punishment. They cannot escape the truth that while you are expanding, their world is shrinking. The paradox is clear. The more you heal, the more their future diminishes. What they tried to bury in you rises as a force they cannot contain. Your healing is not just personal victory. It is the quiet funeral of the narcissist's imagined power. Your growth is the final word they can never rewrite.